What's going on, guys? Metal Music Junkie here, aka John Browning. And today, this is going to be a list video. I'll be going over 7 of some of the most underrated albums in nu metal. Now, nu metal, not one of my favorite genres, but also not one of my least favorites. It was one of my favorites at one point. Back when I was a teenager, I really loved nu metal. And I still enjoy quite a lot of nu metal, like mainly Slipknot and Linkin Park and Korn, Deftones, mostly the popular bands. So, but we are not going to go over those bands. That's a topic for another time. So we won't be going over those bands. So we'll be going over 7 nu metal albums that I felt deserved more attention. Now, not all of them are made by nu metal bands. Some of them were just nu metal albums, or if you're also someone who is already into bands like Slipknot or Korn, and you want to get more into nu metal, I would suggest these albums. So without further ado, let's begin. So the first album we'll be talking about is Passed Out of Existence by Chimaira. Now, they were one of those bands that kind of started off as nu metal, but they kind of immediately abandoned that. This was their debut album that came out in 2001, so kind of at the peak of nu metal. They immediately moved on from being a nu metal band to a groove metal / like kind of metalcore band on the next album, which The Impossibility of Reason, which is the best album. But if you're looking for something more nu metal sounding, this is a good place to start. Not one of my favorite Chimaira albums, but it's still a good album nonetheless. The 3 songs I feel you should check out from this album are the song I was just playing, Split, Severed, and Dead Inside. Alright, next album we got is Violence by Nothingface. This is the 3rd album by this Washington, D.C. based band, and these guys, they definitely deserved a lot of attention back then. Never really got the success that they deserved. The album after this, Skeletons, they got them a little bit more recognition. They even earned a spot on the 2nd stage at Ozfest in 2003. But they broke up. And then they got back together, and then unfortunately their singer Matt Holt died back in 2017, so rest in peace to him. But in my opinion, this is the best Nothingface album. Songs I would recommend: the song I was just playing, Bleeder, Can't Wait for Violence, and Make Your Own Bones. So Next album on the list, Wonder What's Next by Chevelle. Now you're probably wondering, that album is popular, how can you call it underrated? Yes, I know it's popular. It is considered the band's best-selling album, featuring the hit singles The Red and Send the Pain Below. But in my personal opinion, I don't think Chevelle gets as much credit as they deserve. Like, everyone knows who Chevelle is, but I don't hear them talked about as you would hear, Slipknot or Disturbed. I will say this album is more than just The Red or Send the Pain Below. This is a fantastic alternative metal album. Threw them on the nu metal list just because, well, fuck it, why not? Other than those 2 singles that everybody knows, the songs that I would suggest are Comfortable Liar, Forfeit, and Family System. Alright, this next album is the self-titled album from Soulfly. Released in 1998 as the first album since the split that Max Cavalera had with Sepultura. This was kind of a continuation from the album he did with Sepultura, Roots, which was kind of them going on kind of like the nu metal, groove metal route. And kind of like with Chimaira, they didn't stay nu metal their entire career. They were only nu metal on this and the next album, Primitive. And then they kind of went on like the groove metal, thrash metal direction. Which in my opinion is kind of what Soulfly is to me. This album also features guest features from like the song that I just played, Eye for an Eye, featuring Dino Cazares from Fear Factory, Bleed with Fred Durst and DJ Lethal from Limp Bizkit, and First Commandment with Chino Marino from Deftones. Song recommendations: the song I just played, like I said, Eye for an Eye, Tribe, and No Hope Equals No Fear. Oh boy, this one's going to be controversial because our next album is The Burning Red by Machine Head. Now, Machine Head are not a nu metal band, I get that. But for a couple albums in the late 90s, early 2000s, they experimented with nu metal. They are mostly a groove metal band. A lot of people criticize this album, kind of for good reason, for them going the nu metal route, basically calling them sellouts, and the cringy rap from this day, which I will admit is kind of fun and hilarious, but it is definitely cringe. But I would say I actually like this record. Now, if you're more into Machine Head's groove metal stuff like The Blackening or Burn My Eyes, kind of like myself, this record might not be for you. If you're more into the nu metal stuff, you'll like this record. I'll say I will not recommend the album that came after this, Supercharger. That album sucks. I will recommend this album to all the people who want to get into Machine Head but also are into nu metal. Songs I would recommend: the song I was just playing, The Blood, the Sweat, the Tears, Desire the Fire, and Exile the Vile. Alright, kind of like with the last album, next album is Digimortal by Fear Factory. Now, just like Machine Head, they are not a nu metal band at all, but they have experimented with nu metal, so I decided to include this. While not my favorite Fear Factory album, this was one of the albums that got me into Fear Factory. Now, kind of like with Machine Head, there is kind of a bit of the cringy, rappy parts in this. Now, I do like rap, and I do like metal. Sometimes I just don't like them mixed together. And it features and there's a song that features Be Real from Cypress Hill with the song Back the Fuck Up, which is probably the most nu metal title of all time. And there's a kind of like a melodic track on this called Invisible Wounds, which kind of remind me of like a softer, like, melodic song that a nu metal band would do, like Korn maybe. But there is a lot of really good songs on there. The songs I would recommend: the song I was just playing, the title track, Linchpin, and What Will Become. Final album we'll be talking about is Home by Sevendust. Now, this is sort of a popular album, not as popular as the Chevelle album, but it did do well. The album went gold, and it is well known for the song Denial, which is probably Sevendust's most popular song. But the reason why I included this is kind of the same reason why I included Chevelle. People know who Sevendust is, but I don't think they get as much credit as, bands like Slipknot or Linkin Park. I fucking love Sevendust. They are probably one of the most consistent bands in nu metal, in my opinion. So, other than the song I was just playing, Denial, and the other single on the album, Waffle, the songs I would recommend are Rumblefish, the title track, and Bender, which features Chino Marino from Deftones. Alright, that is it for this video. Let me know some of your favorite new metal albums, underrated or not underrated, down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Don't gatekeep, and rock on.